that, Ron?
Really, I mean, from now on, we should just call it, oh,
yeah,
hot.
I may put a little pause in there so that we can all maybe say it together. Like
that's
one of
good.
Rick's, it's Fridays.
Yeah.
Right, sure.
The thing.
Like an animation.
Get
Thanks,
ready.
Boy.
Yeah.
Well, a long day for lawmakers in the Senate after Good morning, everyone. Let's chat with John Jay and Rich at 104.7 FM this morning. So usually we chat about entertainment, but let's chat about this Cedar Creek fire because, John Jay, I've been watching some of your Instagram photos, Snapchat, tweets, things like that. And your wife, she was up there, right? Or is she still? Or
My wife and kids are up there. They're still up there. I mean, I hope. I talked to them last night. I went to bed at 9:30, and they had decided to stay. They have all their cell phones on for alerts. They're in pre-evacuation mode, and they're just waiting for the alert. Because when they do get the evacuation mode or alert, it's to you have a 4-hour window to get out. And yesterday I was posting pictures that she was sending me because she was in line to get gas. And she was in line for an hour. They said, you know, when you're evacuating, you got to get gas. Think about it because everybody has to leave.
Right.
She was in line for an hour, finally got gas, filled up her tank, and that's when the amount of cars behind her waiting to get gas. And then she goes to Safeway to get water, and all the water's gone.
Wow.
Like Pine Top, Sholo, and Lakeside, I guess are in like, panic mode right now.
Absolutely. I mean, a lot of those folks went through the rodeo Chetasky, maybe if they've been up in that part of the Arizona for some time, so they remember, they're starting to think about these things really early. Was that the only gas station that she saw really long lines at, or were all of them?
Oh, all of them. She was talking to her. She's like, oh my gosh, that line is so much longer.
Yeah.
Oh my. And then she passed another gas station. Oh my God. I was like, send me pictures. But she was on the phone with me and talked, so she couldn't. And she was driving, so she couldn't do that. But I guess and then my son was sending me pictures that he was taking outside the front door of our cabin. I posted some of those too, where you just see flames right over the mountains, over the trees.
How much contained is this fire at this point? Do we know?
I don't believe so, but typical with a wildfire, they'll meet this morning, like maybe they've already met this morning around 5 o'clock, and all of the firefighters, the ICs, the incident commanders meet and they discuss the fire lines, whether or not they were met, before sunrise, and then they decide kind of the plan for the morning. So I'm guessing we'll probably get an update here coming up next hour or so as to their plan for the morning.
I'd like them to put it out pretty quick because I was planning on going there tomorrow because this weekend it's supposed to be 120 here in Phoenix, where it's supposed to be 7.
Part of the valley. I've never experienced. I don't think I've ever experienced 100 and soak it.
You'll be tan. It's going to be like.
Hey, I think my wife is going to go live with you guys a little after 7 this morning to talk report. Now I haven't talked to her. I'm hoping that you guys are a priority. At 7:10, my wife is talking to you guys live on Fox.
Glad to hear it. I'm glad your family's okay. It was good to see you guys. We'll chat entertainment headlines tomorrow morning for sure. All right.
All right, we've got a Fox 10 news alert. We're following the latest developments out of a Phoenix neighborhood where one person is killed, and now police are surrounding a home with guns drawn. Liz Kodalik live, 55th Ave in Clarendon.
So this has turned into a really tense situation out here. About 10 minutes ago, police surrounded this house, guns drawn. An officer just telling us this may be turning into a standoff with whoever is inside this home. Now, all of this is coming after a shooting earlier this morning that left one person dead, another in extremely critical condition, and we believe it happened outside of this home that police are surrounding right now. A car is still on scene here with a body of a man next to it, and we believe that's where all of this happened. Again, the shooter or the shooters have not been caught. Police are saying that after this happened, they left the scene. Unclear if they left and went inside of this home or went somewhere else. Again, not sure what the relationship is. Oh, excuse me, 1 second. Police officers are talking right now. 1 second.
It would make us happier if we can get you guys out of the room and put a target.
Okay, thank you. All right, so police just telling us that we need to be moving because they believe that the gunman or gunman is inside of this home, so they're going to be moving us back a little bit for our safety. Hoping to get an update for you here in a second. I'm going to send it back to you.
All right, Liz, thank you. Now, the effects of the Orlando mass shooting taking center stage on Capitol Hill. A nearly 15-hour Senate filibuster over gun legislation came to an end last night. Senator
Let's take a look at some Health Watch stories for you this morning. While they may seem like harmless pets, a new report says that small creatures have caused 15 salmonella outbreaks. This is in the U.S. over the past decade or so. More than 900 people were sickened. Half of them were children under the age of 10. The CDC says certain defined love, and a couple in Colorado Springs are all the proof you need. 89-year-old Claude Sanchez met 90-year-old Connie Palms last November at their retirement home. Take a look at this couple. Dancing is what brought them together. Claude says he's never turned down an opportunity to dance, so when Connie asked, he said yes. Well, fast forward 6 months later, and it was Connie saying yes to Claude, asking if she'd marry him.
It means everything. It is everything. It's been a long time since my first marriage, so I've been alone.
We know what our age is. Life will continue, and whatever happens, happens, but I don't think I could ever be happier by myself than I am.
Well, 5:57, let's take a look at some business news.
Well, Amazon announcing it's going to do another one of these brick and mortar stores. This one's going to be in Portland, Oregon. It'll be their third store, and it's going to be in the Washington Square Mall. The online retailer's already opened stores in Seattle, and it's going to open another one in San Diego this summer. The irony, of course, is that so many bookstores have shut down over the years because of the strength of Amazon.
Right.
So now they're opening stores.
It was all in the big plan, right?
Apparently.
Even though summer break just kicked off, Office Depot gearing up for the next school year. Well, before you know it, school year will be.
Police tell us they believe whoever was responsible for a deadly shooting this morning may be inside a home in this neighborhood, armed and dangerous. We're going to take you live from the scene of the standoff, coming up in a live report.
And another massive wildfire.
Waiting here in Show Low for a press conference said to be happening at about 10 a.m. from officials updating us on the acreage as well as containment of this fire. Coming up, we'll have the latest updates on the fire from Show Low.
And fire investigators hope you can help them find the guys who set off a big fire inside a Valley Walmart last night. What we're learning about that crazy story coming up.
Good morning, everyone.
With the weather.
Well, we've got a big weekend ahead, as we all know. We've been talking about it all week long.
News. Also, we begin with the Fox 10 News alert. A deadly early morning shooting is being investigated in Phoenix at this hour.
The situation continues to unfold. We're watching it all live. Liz Kodalik at 55th Ave near Indian School. Liz.
So police are in the middle of what they are calling a possible standoff with the person or people who they believe were responsible for a deadly shooting in this neighborhood earlier this morning. An officer telling us they're very concerned right now that the people inside this home that they're surrounding right now are armed, so they've moved all the media back for our safety. These police officers have had their guns drawn here for about 15 minutes now. We're going to stay on this scene, a tight shot here for you so that you can watch as I tell you exactly what we know. So all of this is happening after a double shooting earlier this morning that left one person dead, another in extremely critical condition in the hospital. Although police haven't told us how all of this unfolded, neighbors are saying that they heard arguing and gunshots outside of this neighborhood around 4:30 this morning. When we got on scene, we did see there's a car home that police are surrounding right now. A man's body is still on scene outside of that car. We watched as they loaded another person onto an ambulance and kind of slowly left the scene with that person inside. Now, police are also telling us that earlier they had a couple of children inside one of their police vehicles. We're not sure what their relationship is to the victims or even what the man who died and whoever was transported to the hospital. Police Police are telling us, though, that the two victims were known to each other, and all they're saying about the people responsible is that they left the scene right after all of this happened. So again, we're watching live as police surround this home, guns drawn. They've been like this for about 20 minutes. They're very concerned right now that the people inside are still armed and dangerous. So we're going to stay on top of this for you, watch as this all unfolds, and bring you any updates as soon as we get them. I'm going to send it back into you guys.
All right, another massive wildfire also this morning burning in Arizona. It's being called the Cedar Creek Fire and is forcing people out of their homes in the small community of Forestdale. This is just southwest of Show Low, 10 miles or so south of Show Low.
All right, so let's take a look for you right here on this map to show you the area we're talking about. 3,000 acres, and it's burning about 12 miles south and slightly west of Show Low. Danielle.
Yeah, guys, that thick smoke still blanketing a lot of the white smoke out here. Definitely a lot thicker in the distance. Officials had a press conference. Town right now that is still 100% evacuated is notices for Show Low, Pine Top, and Lake. Because not a good situation to be heading out there. And I know winds were a factor yesterday with this fire, trying to fight it. Right now, it's a little bit breezy out here, but fire officials are expecting those winds to pick up. But we're going to stay here on scene. We're going to be waiting for that press conference at 10 o'clock this morning. And if we get any other details on this fire, we'll bring you the updates as they become available. Guys, back to you.
Danielle, just a quick question here. We were talking to John Jay over at 104.7. His wife is up in that area. She described a situation where she was just trying to buy gas yesterday, and the manager came out and said, that's it, we're not selling any more gas. And there were 100 people in line behind her that weren't able to get gas. Did you see anything like that last evening as you were driving around town? Gas lines, etc.?
We actually got here around 9:30 last night, and me and my photographer were actually talking. It didn't really tell like anything. If you didn't know there was a fire, you probably wouldn't have known from the town. It was pretty quiet when we got in here, so I'm not sure if that happened a little bit earlier. But when we got to our hotel, the woman at the front desk said that her phone has been ringing off the hook from people trying to see if they can stay at the hotel, if they are evacuated or whatnot. And she also told us that, we might get a knock on our door early this morning if the town was evacuated. So I think we might have gotten to town a little bit late in terms of the gas lines and things like that, but we definitely heard that from some of the people here around town.
Okay.
All right. Be safe up there, Danielle. Thank you. As Danielle has just shared, weather playing a big role here in this fire with its growth and movement.
So how are things looking weather-wise here in terms of just the way the winds are moving and temperatures? Corey's tracking it all for us in the Weather Center.
Well, it could hardly be worse. I hate to bring that kind of news.
Night. We have some surveillance video to show you as well, and we have some closer looks at these people. And so if you see them, you can call police as well. So in terms of details on this story, firefighters believe that 3 people you see on the left here in this video, 2 men and a woman, are responsible. They're walking away from the fire moments after it was started. You can see one of the men appear to quickly celebrate with a 4th person so that person could potentially be the 4th suspect. So that's what police are. Here's the celebration, kind of like the hand clap type thing. In another shot, you see the faces of 2 of the suspects as they leave the store right here. As they look back, the camera gets a pretty good shot of them. And so investigators hope someone may recognize who they are. You can call Silent Witness at 480-WITNESS. In terms of the crews, they were able to get the fire out pretty quickly, stopping it before it could reach another row of charcoal that was nearby. Some lighter fluid and propane bottles that could have quickly turned into something so much worse. Firefighters say that the extensive fire smoke, water damage, they're going to keep this store closed for quite a while.
New details emerge about Omar Mateen, the terrorist behind the Orlando nightclub shooting massacre. It turns out he spoke to an undercover film crew in a clip back in 2012 that's now surfacing. It was a documentary about the oil spill in the Gulf.
Everybody just get out to get paid. they're like hoping for more oil to come out and more people to complain so they'll have the jobs. Because once people get laid off here, it's going to suck for them. They want more disaster to happen because that's where their money making is.
The security firm confirmed that the guard seen in the video is the killer, Mateen. We're also learning that he made at least 5 phone calls during the attack, 3 to 911, 1 to an unidentified friend, and 1 to a local news station. Law enforcement is now officially calling the shooting both a hate crime and an act of terrorism. But they say if his wife, Noor Solomon, is arrested, she could even face accessory to murder charges. She was reportedly with him when he cased possible targets for the massacre.
One of the youngest victims in the attack honored here in the Valley. Friends and former classmates gathered at Skyline Park in Mesa to remember 19-year-old Jason Josephat. They had a candlelight vigil for him.
Tonight at 9, Flint, Michigan. The water system disaster that shocked the nation. Could it happen here?
Well, good morning, everyone. Roads looking pretty good for the most part, not too many accidents. Historically, our busiest area of the morning is going to be out in the West Valley, and so we'll take a look at that in just a few moments. But in terms of our other commute times here around the valley, let's go ahead and take a look at that at this hour. In the West Valley, you can see some of those different colors popping up there on the I-10, but not causing too many delays. Drive time only about 8 minutes all the way into the Sac. That's from 67th Avenue. West Valley 101 looking good. Grand getting a little busy as you head out on the 101 in Grand. 101 up in the north part of the valley at the 17, that's looking nice. 17 southbound looking okay as well. 60 getting busy as you approach the I-10 at the Broadway curve area. A little bit south of that, we do have an accident over at Kyrene and the 202, but it's not too bad. In terms of the West Valley, let's take a look out at our ADOT camera here this morning. We'll head back out to the West Valley and we'll give you a shot at the I-10 this morning in terms of that morning commute. And you can see this is at about 83rd Avenue in the I-10. You can see traffic moving smoothly in both directions. No major accidents in one of our busiest areas of the valley. An update on the tragic story of the toddler dragged away by an alligator.
Authorities searched for hours yesterday. They did recover the little 2-year-old boy's body. The boy, Lane Graves, was waiting along the shoreline of this lake there at the Disney World Resort on Tuesday. Look at all the people. Suddenly snatched away by a gator who came up out of the water. Both parents tried to get him back desperately, but they couldn't. Matt and Melissa Graves waited 16 hours for rescuers to find his little body.
It's a tragic situation, and
it could really play a difference in whether or not they're able to start getting a handle on the fire burning up near Show Low. Corey's up in 15 seconds.
Dad on Sunday. Huh? I mean, I don't know what your relationship is like with your dad.
Correct.
Maybe that's been your plan all along.
Oh, yeah.
But if you care about Dad.
If you cared about Dad, move Father's Day to Friday.
Yeah.
Or like 2 weeks later.
Maybe a weekend in October. Would be
All right, Corey, thanks, buddy. 6:21 hours coming up. Have you noticed anything about a difference in the
Good morning, everyone. 6:24 this morning. Andrea has the day off. She's off until Monday, so we're covering traffic for her this morning. We've seen a couple of accidents on our Valley freeways, not causing too much trouble for you, though. Let's start over in the East Valley, and you can see down the accident I was sharing with you over on the 202 and Kyrene Road, and you can see 22 miles per hour on the 202 Santan, so causing some delays for you folks out there in the southeast part of the valley. If that's part of your morning commute, the 202 Santan. Around the Broadway Curve area, that's causing some issues as well. But in between there, as you head through Ahwatukee, it's looking pretty nice. 14 miles per hour for you folks heading right into downtown Phoenix, heading westbound on the I-10 there. It's pretty slow and go. Out in the West Valley, historically our busiest area of the morning, still looking nice. 67th Avenue to the Stack, only about 8 minutes. West Valley looking pretty nice on the 101. 101 up in the north part of the valley, all the way around through Scottsdale, Tempe by Tempe Marketplace. It's looking fabulous at this hour. Folks hitting the road, but no major accidents. 17 heading southbound, looking nice as well. And let's take a live look out at our ADOT camera. I'll give you a nice shout out at 6:25 now at this hour. This is I-10 and 83rd Avenue, 76 degrees. You can see traffic moving nicely in both. Yeah. Well, the latest on the death penalty lawsuit. The judge in the case wants an update on the state's supply of execution drugs. The suit filed by 7 death row inmates asking for more transparency in areas.
Rally itself starts at 4. Most of the latest polls show him losing ground to Hillary Clinton in a head-to-head matchup.
Shot sometime. Well, we remain on wildfire watch this morning. We are live from the fire lines up in the White Mountains with a look at the latest conditions.
And we will take a look outside. Obviously, this passing McDowell Mountains, the Penguin Air and Plumbing News chopper headed towards the area of Show Low and the White Mountains to give us a view of the smoke and the haze and talk to us about how the winds will be affecting the firefight. It's 6:27. Good morning, Arizona. I'll be right back.
Brian.
Toyota, let's 3. And when he says,
What are they?
Officer training canines. I love the dogs, but you take a real beating. I injured my
to illustrate.
This is a stunning statement from the CIA director there, John Brennan. Ari Fleischer was White House press secretary under President George W. Bush. He's with me in the studio.
Yes, Neutrogena Ultra Sheer. No other sunscreen works better or feels better. Clinically proven Helioplex provides unbeatable UVA/UVB protection to help prevent early skin aging and skin cancer, all with a clean, light feel. For unbeatable protection, it's the one, the best for your skin. Ultra Sheer. Neutrogena. See what's possible.
I see courage in families looking for loved ones. There's
Piper Pizza. Looking for a sweet summer deal? How about 2 large one-topping pizzas?
Your Valley Hyundai dealer make no payments till next year, like the highly acclaimed Sonata or totally redesigned Elantra. Plus America's best warranty, 10 years, 100,000 miles. Get a paycation of up to $3,500 in total savings on a Sonata, or lease the all-new Elantra.
For 4 years during Mattress Firm's 30th anniversary sale, celebrating 30 years of helping people sleep happy.
From social media to networking, 5 moves grads unknowingly make that prevent them from getting work.
They've been used to being told where to go, what they have to do.
And steps to take right now to increase chances, helping Arizona families find, hold, and prosper on the job. Tonight at 9.
This is Angels Memorial.
What are you going to do?
I'm going to save his life.
It's now 6:30 on this Thursday, and of course, we're staying on top of breaking news. That wildfire burning up in the White Mountains in eastern Arizona near Show Low. and that is about a 3-hour drive from Phoenix through Payson, about 170 miles.
The Cedar Creek fire has torched 3,000 acres at last check, and evacuations have been ordered in the Forestdale area, but other communities are on alert.
Yeah, they sure are. We have live team coverage this morning, including a look at the weather conditions and road closures near the fire.
But let's head out right now to Jeff Van Sant, who is live just a couple of miles outside.
Hopefully buying in bulk like that gets him some kind of a discount.
Yeah. He takes out the checkbook and
lots of zeros.
We got a big day ahead. Temperatures, though.
And then they heard a few gunshots. Then this has escalated now into this police standoff. Also, we are hearing from Phoenix police that 2 small children, so small one couldn't even talk, they were found in the area, in possibly the car that was involved in this shooting. We saw Phoenix firefighters bring a teddy bear over to those 2 small children. They have since left, but at this point, again, 55th Avenue and Clarendon, the police have blocked this area off as they continue to negotiate with whoever is in that house. We're live in Phoenix. Justin Pizzera, ABC 15.
All right, let's break down your most accurate forecast if you've got to get out the door soon. Our temperature now down to 76 degrees. Very nice in Phoenix. We even have some cooler spots in the low 70s across the valley. So comfortable as you step outside. Our temperatures, though, will again get hot this afternoon. We'll actually warm to 92 by 10 a.m., then 97 by noon before we hit that high of 103. Still below average, though, for this time of year. We are also under a UV alert. Our burn time under 10 minutes today. So make sure you add sunblock to your morning routine today if you can. Now, we are not under a heat alert today, but we will be under a heat alert this weekend, and it has been upgraded to a warning. I'll show you exactly when it goes into effect and how hot those temperatures will get.
And Iris, your 2 hot spots this morning are exactly what you would expect. I-10 is your
where a body of a man is still, lying there, and we believe that's where this all happened. And the neighbors who we spoke to said that's where they believe this happened too, because the arguing that they heard sounded like.
It's on Kyrene Road. This is the southbound direction. It was blocking more of the roadway just a few minutes ago, but they have somewhat cleared that. But just make sure you stay right to get by this crash.
A portion of our state was not under a red flag warning, but other portions were across northern Arizona yesterday because of the windy and dry conditions. Right now, 57 degrees. Winds aren't too bad. They're out of the south at 8 miles an hour, gusting currently to about 15 miles an hour. 29% relative humidity. It's come up just a little bit. Today, they'll be in the mid to upper 80s there near the fire lines, and winds will be out of the southwest at about 10 to 15 miles an hour, so still breezy. Gusts upwards of 30 miles an hour. The winds again out of the southwest, seeing where that fire is, it'll push that smoke. It'll continue to push that smoke into Show Low and Pinetop Lakeside. Tomorrow will be a little bit warmer with a high near about 90 degrees. Winds will be just a tad lighter. The wind should ease up more over the weekend, but as strong high pressure builds in, those temperatures are really going to climb in that area.
April, thank you. Right now, only the tiny community of Forestdale.
Massive wildfire burning not far from Show Low up in northern Arizona.
The Cedar Creek fire is burning near Show Low, as Ron just mentioned, already has prompted some evacuations. The fire broke out yesterday morning southwest of Show Low, exploded.
High School. The Red Cross Northern Arizona chapter opened it up for those evacuated residents at about 7:30 last night. It is on the south.
It's clear, and then there's this huge dark coming across, and then we drove underneath, and then it got all dark, and you could smell it smelled like campfire.
Yeah, that's what a lot of people have been saying. You could just really tell that it smells like fire, and you could definitely see the smoke in the distance. Now, I should mention, too, that a lot of the gas stations around here, they've been packed with people, at times having lines of cars. These people gathering supplies because they don't know when they're going to have to evacuate, if they're going to have to evacuate, and if they do, when they'll be able to come back. And Iris, a lot of people are wondering right now if Mother Nature is going to hurt or help in this firefight.
Well, let's talk about the weather forecast here for that area. Now, the latest fire conditions will show you that we actually saw a boost.
from the trail itself. The medical examiner will determine the cause of death. But
Night. Here's what it says. This area has experienced severe wildfires before, so the state is on high alert given the additional risks posed by current weather conditions. Whether it's resources, support, or backup, we stand at the ready to provide fire officials and our brave and talented first responders with all they need to safeguard Arizona from this fire. And of course, we'll continue to bring you the very latest on all the wildfires burning across Arizona. And for up-to-the-moment updates, just head to the free 3TV News app. Well, right now, Phoenix police are looking for at least 3 suspects they say are responsible for starting a fire inside of a Walmart late last night.
Yeah, it happened right inside the store near 51st Avenue and Indian School. And that is where Mark Liverman is joining us live this morning with the details. Mark.
Well, guys, crews are saying it actually started right in the middle of the store, right next to or at the fireworks display. That
beginning tomorrow night.
From above, we have some of those.
Continues to expand even more because this afternoon things are going to start to change. The wind's basically out of the south.
spoke to a police officer just a couple minutes ago saying it could be closed for the next 5 to 6 days. Want to show you some video, though, from late last night. Crews saying this started around 8:30 last night. There was extensive smoke and water damage to the entire store. Phoenix Fire dispatched their fan truck to clear the smoke, which was floor to ceiling, they're telling us. We're told a few store workers were treated but not taken to the hospital for respiratory issues related to the smoke. Now, police say they spotted 2 men and a woman walking away from the fireworks display on surveillance video right around the time of the fire. They say they spotted those people looking back at the scene, looking back towards the middle of the store just a couple minutes later. They have some surveillance video and some pictures of that as well. But again, they're telling us this Walmart could be closed possibly for cleanup for the next 5 to 6 days because of how much damage there is inside. And of course, if you have any information on these suspects, you're asked to call 480-WITNESS. Back to you guys.
Those are very clear images, so I'm sure a 3TV viewer can help in the investigation. Mark, thank you. Now to a 2-year investigation that leads to a major drug bust here. Millions of dollars worth of illegal prescription
per hour is what you're going to travel as you pass the Broadway curve. West Valley looking nice, drive time 8 minutes. 67th Avenue to the stack as you take a look. 101 looking nice all the way around. No major accidents that we're seeing at this hour on our maps. Drive time on the 17 looking nice, 4 minutes to the stack. East Valley on the 60 looking nice at this hour as well. Let's take a live look out at our ADOT camera this morning at 6:38. You can see this is the I-17 at about 7th Avenue or so, southbound, and looking nice out there in both directions. We'll be right back.
Fast Traffic is brought.
High school graduate was in cheerleading and dance. The organizer of the event was one of his closest friends, and she says she wishes she could talk to him one last time.
I miss him a lot. And me and him were fighting right before he passed, and I just wish that I got a chance to tell him that I was sorry. This sucks.
Many people at that event said they would continue to honor Josephat by supporting the LGBT community.
All right, let's get you out the door with your Valley most accurate forecast. We've got a few more Valley cities now down into the upper 60s this morning. Now, Ahwatukee, that includes you down in Maricopa, also down into the 60s. And Chandler, you're checking in at a nice 68 degrees here this morning. Buckeye, you're also in the 60s. In the low 70s in the West Valley, Peoria at 72, and Glendale, good morning, you're starting out at 73. Not a bad morning at all. It feels really good out there now, but temperatures will get a little toasty to hot here by this afternoon. We'll actually start that warm up out of the 70s and into the 80s by 8 a.m. And then we're warming to 92 by 10 o'clock. By noon, we're at 97 degrees, so still not in the hundreds by lunchtime. But remember, we are under that UV alert, so if you're going to be outside around then, that's when we get the strongest UV rays, so sunblock will be key. By 4 o'clock, we'll watch for that high temperature, a high of 100.
Bit will be at about 95 by lunchtime. Today we'll take it to 103. We only topped out at 101 yesterday, and we stayed in the double digits the day before. It's been an interesting June so far, and it is about to get even more interesting. Satellite radar shows clear skies this morning. We've got two major weather influences, one for now and one for the next couple of days. First, this trough of low pressure here that's pushing by to the north across the Great Basin. Well, it is keeping Arizona under the influence of a dry southwesterly flow. We've got very low relative humidity across the state right now, nearly cloudless sky. And again, it's driving those breezy southwesterly winds today up near the rim and near that fire as well. Now, over the next day or so, this trough is really going to weaken. That's going to shift our flow, and this high pressure ridge, which is situated over northern Mexico, starts to build in from the southeast toward Arizona. And that's going to be why we see record hot temperatures starting on Sunday and lasting at least through next Wednesday at this point. Today's temperatures 101 for Scottsdale, sunshine and light winds here in the valley.
These shooting stars
with the fire, not the heat. We're talking 101 in Bullhead City, 90.
The guys, the shooter just started saying it. Everybody come out, everybody's gonna die.
More survivor
Survivors and families of those killed in the Pulse nightclub shooting in Orlando.
Well, an overnight fire here at this Walmart on Indian School Road has the store shut down for the next 5 to 6 days. Coming up, we'll show you who police say is responsible.
CBS 5 News brought to you by Desert
Apes throughout California in the 1970s and 80s. They say they have the killer's DNA, and in so many cases they're able to use DNA now to crack the cold case. FBI offering $50,000 for information that leads to an arrest.
Missouri police arrest a man they say was chasing a 13-year-old with a hatchet and threatening to kill him. 21-year-old Joseph Havner, you just saw his photo there, now facing several charges. Officers say the guy accused the teen of stealing money from his home 4 months ago. The teen called his mom for help. He wasn't hurt. Havner then admitted to detectives, quote, "To be honest, I was going to kill him," he told authorities. He's now being held on $10,000 bail.
A new city is taking shape in Brazil to get ready for the Olympic Games that don't start until
confusing? Maybe. This summer.
Welcome to
the last week of July, but yesterday they wanted to show it off to the media to get the word out that Brazil is ready for the upcoming games.
Well, SpaceX's Falcon 9 rocket successfully lifts off from Cape Canaveral.
3, 2, 1, 0. Liftoff of the Falcon 9.
It never gets old watching this happen. The rocket sent 2 satellites into space. One satellite will provide video for telecommunications and government services to Mexico, Central America, and South America. The other will serve some countries across the Atlantic. Unlike the past 2 launches, the space company was unable to land the rocket on a drone ship in the ocean.
Checking the time, we're at 6:44. Corey is updating the forecast. There was some talk about 120 as we head into the weekend.
Some talk.
Probably won't hit that, but it is going to be toasty. He'll get you the latest numbers.
It's like a bad rumor on.
Exactly.
Including, let's talk about this, a scandal in Oakland, California, all involving an interim police chief.
Is going to only run you 13 minutes so far this morning. Traffic futurecast. So for the 8 o'clock hour, we do see some changes taking you to the North Valley down to about 32 miles per hour on 101 eastbound. We're also looking the 51 southbound down to 35 miles per hour around Camelback. Keep in mind the 303 is still closed through early Saturday morning for Transformers filming between Lake Pleasant Parkway and I-17, and then a closure because of the Cedar Creek fire. US 60 between Show Low and 73, so you guys can use 87 and 260 to make it around that. Back to you.
All right, thank you, Jen. 6:45, monsoon has officially begun here in Arizona. And while there's no immediate rain in the forecast, we know it's really just a matter of time before the thunderstorms begin.
And with them comes a chance of flash flooding. Jimmy Q has a look at the dangers of trying to cross a wash.
So many times we hear about people getting
up a shelter at
Discovery comes just days before the 30-day lifespan expires on the batteries for the emergency signals from the plane's black box. Last month, the plane crashed into the sea with 66 people on board. The recorder is hoped to help investigators figure out what caused that plane to go down.
It is 6:46. More survivor accounts have been coming out from Sunday's massacre at the Pulse nightclub in Orlando, Florida. The shooting rampage that left 49 innocent people dead, 53 more wounded. One survivor
to legalize recreational marijuana, and the pitch is pointed at
love to save. If you
will run through Father's Day weekend. And the Warriors could take it all tonight. Game 6 of the NBA Finals. Right now, the Warriors lead the Cavs 3-2 in the series. Tonight's matchup takes place in Cleveland. We do have some breaking news to report. Several media outlets are reporting that the cockpit voice recorder from Egypt Air Flight 804 has been found. It's damaged but intact. And once again, it's the little black box from that flight that crashed into the Mediterranean last month. We'll have much more on that as the morning goes on. Those are the 5 things you need to know, Heidi.
Yeah, and just in time, because those things go dead, I think, after about a month or so. So they got that in time. Carlos, thank you. We do have an update this morning on breaking news we first told you about last night at 10 o'clock. Crews had to evacuate a Walmart after a fire broke out at a fireworks stand inside that store. Mark Liverman is live at the store near 51st Avenue and Indian School this morning, Mark. And police say this was no accident.
Yeah, that is exactly what they are telling us. They've got some pictures, they've got some surveillance video. Fireworks display.
All right, looks like we're having a little bit of trouble getting Mark's live shot to hold for us out there. I think we're going to go ahead and give you some more information on this fire. They say it was started around 8:30 last night. It did cause some extensive smoke and water damage inside that store. They did again have to evacuate it. Phoenix Fire dispatched their fan truck to clear the smoke, which was floor to ceiling inside a Walmart. We're told a few store workers were treated, but not taken to the hospital, but they were treated for some respiratory issues related to the smoke in the building. Police also say they did spot 2 men and a woman walking away from the fireworks display. They caught them on surveillance video right around the same time that fire started. So police say the Walmart could be closed for 5, maybe 6 days as crews work to clean up the fire, the mess that the fire created.
They later found the toddler in.
Will be available to you on our website, cbs5az.com. All right, let's go ahead and get a check of your traffic now. It is
this residence. The female victim was here. She was not involved in that altercation. However, she called for her husband to come and pick her up. When her husband, the 22-year-old male, arrived at the scene, he had a 5-year-old and 3-year-old children with him. There was a second altercation of some type outside of the home near the car, and at that point, shots were fired, and the victims were injured by that gunshot fire. As officers are investigating this, they're able to develop information that there are possibly a suspect
around the stack. Some slowing on I-17 once you get past the Durango curve as well. And again, we're starting to see traffic pick up on the Loop 101 as well up to the north. Out in the East Valley, we've got slowing on westbound I-10 from about Warner, really taking you all the way to US 60. Some slowing as well on US 60 as well, right around the Mesa area. And then we want to let you know about the closure of US 60, a 20-mile portion of US 60 closed in both directions due to the Cedar Creek fire. Again, from the 73 all the way to Show Low. So if you had planned to travel to the area, you may want to think again or think of your alternates. They are basically State Routes 87 and 260.
Okay, great, Marcy. The big story is that fire, and the big story with that fire is going to be the wind. Temperatures today, 82, 80.
Out west, we do have a motorcycle accident on the 303 where it meets Grand Avenue. If we take a look at the I-10 on the east side of town, not quite into the rush hour here either, although you might see some slowing right around Ray Road and then also at the US 60 transition. Let's round things out by looking at the West Valley commute. I would not call that a rush hour at all. Definitely summer light, and do want to mention it is Thursday. If you are lucky enough to get out of town today, it would be wise, April, because starting tomorrow I'm expecting a huge exodus on the I-10 and the I-8 to San Diego and LA. Right now, wide open and problem-free.
All right, thanks, Gina. I think a lot of people are looking for a place to cool off for this upcoming weekend. This may be our hottest stretch for the entire summer. At least we kind of hope it is.
So today really looks like a pretty average day.
Shooting turns fatal, but this is still ongoing. A live report in moments. The other big story we're following right now, we are live from near the Cedar Creek fire, which is raging outside of Show Low.
Love to save? Yeah. AutoNation's having a huge sale.
Do you have any information about how many people were inside of this home prior to the shooting?
We don't know at this point how many people were inside, how long they were there, how long the party was going on. We don't have any of that information. We'll gather all that later.
Can you tell me kind of what the scene is behind you? We see cops behind their squad cars. They're holding guns, one with an assault rifle.
Absolutely. We believe that we have suspects inside of that residence, and so we're going to approach it as safely as we can to keep our officers safe, even as we try to negotiate the folks that are inside to come out. And that's what you're seeing out there. The officers are actually talking right now with megaphones to the home, trying to get these folks to come out. At some point, you will see our Special Assignments Unit take over, and they will begin their negotiation procedures again in an effort to end this safely.
You've been listening
to
get
contact with the person in the home.
Holmes talk about what is now an active SWAT situation. This after a deadly shooting that happened earlier this morning at 55th Avenue in Clarendon. They believe that someone or maybe a group of people is holed up inside of a home there. We'll stay on the scene and bring you the very latest.
And that possibly they even knew the victims. But right now they're just trying to get those folks out of that home. 6:53 is the time right now. They say timing is everything, but can the timing of your baby being born affect their intelligence? That plus a final check of your weather and traffic before you head on out to start your day. It's next on 12 Today.
12 Who Cares, celebrating the good.